Hey Manna family, Pastor Riley here. Welcome to day 2 of our journey with Joseph. And again, we've just been looking to see how being faithful and fruitful right where we are develops us into walking to our God-given dreams, and it also brings clarity or confirmation to our calling. Now, I mentioned yesterday that Joseph's brothers, they hated him. They hated him so much, in fact, that they sold him into slavery. But that wasn't the first option. They wanted to kill him. That's how much they hated him. But Reuben, who would have been his oldest brother, he convinced the other brothers, hey, let's beat him up, like he's a punk, so let's beat him up and throw him into a pit. His plan was to rescue Joseph later, but I love this. Ironically, the plan to throw Joseph into a pit, and then that would actually be the thing, because they were being sarcastic, like, hey, we'll see if his dreams become a thing. Ultimately, that serves God's plan to bring that very dream to fulfillment. Now, pause for a moment and imagine being Joseph. Imagine the betrayal. I mean, he was beaten, he was abandoned by those closest to him, and worse, he was a driven performer, and now he finds himself in a situation where he had no control. No amount of talent, no amount of skill, competence could get him out of this pit. In fact, scripture says that he was alone in an empty pit that didn't even have water. Sometimes when I'm doing my devotions, when I'm reading scripture, I think about what's not documented, like what isn't being said. I mean, this is a traumatic moment for Joseph, and we don't see any words from him. Who up to this point, Joseph had been a pretty talkative person. I think the reason why there's nothing said is because he would have to trust God to get him out of this pit. And that's where, honestly, we can be faithful and fruitful. It was the only action step he could take. Sometimes the most faithful and fruitful step we can take is to simply trust God. Maybe you feel stuck, like you're not moving forward in your calling. Maybe it's your environment, your circumstances, your relationships. Maybe they aren't ideal. Perhaps you've been betrayed, hurt, or abandoned. God is still in control. He loves you, and he only does what is right. And we're going to see that Joseph is a life-size illustration of Romans chapter 8, verse 28. It says, we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God, those who are called according to his purpose. But first, we got to get this boy out of the pit. So I want you to come back tomorrow, and I'll tell you how.